wherever you want to go.
I'm Keane Woods, and my presentation is on gaming. Is it bad for gaming is bad for children, or is it? So, our current generation and the generations to follow will be known as the video game native generation, as everything from they'll be growing up with every aspect of games around them, as previous generations would have had games introduced, or medium of games introduced as they grew up. So basically, since the 1970s, the video game industry has risen from a few hundred million in the 70s up to 15 billion at the start of 2000 and 46 billion in 2014, and that is excluding mobile games. So 91% of 2 to 17-year-olds play games. That's a study done 2015 or 2014 in the US. And reason for this is games now are widely accessible wherever you go. Back in the 70s, games were in the form of arcades. The initial consoles, but you had to order your games off magazines. You had to copy the code from magazines if you wanted it yourself. And now whereas games are accessible in mobiles, PCs, consoles, and like even a child who's one, their parents might give them their iPhone or Android phone to play a game, so straight away from birth they're introduced to gaming. So are we all doomed for failure if games are such negative? So yes, there can be negatives of games, which I will discuss now. So as you see, there's I've some keywords there: obesity, addiction, isolation, violence, and poor grades. So from a report published in 2012, it was shown that kids who spend more than 2/3 of their free time tend to isolate themselves outside of school as they play games, which a knock-on effect is potentially lowering their self-confidence. This in turn could turn to addiction, where all they want to do is play games, don't go outside, and it stunts their growth from interacting with other kids, playing on the road, just playing, kicking a ball about. Same with poor grades, and then a knock-on is obesity as well. So it's in the US again, this is where the figures are for obesity. 12.1% of children ages 2 to 5 are obese. Turns to 18% for 6 to 11-year-olds, and 18.4% for 12 to 19-year-olds. And part of that report, a product of reason for this was gaming. But and then there's violence, which the media loves to blow up about games. But another view of it is that everything in excess is bad. Too much exercise in excess is bad for you, as well as, so everything in moderation is good for you. So as I said with the media, there's a couple of quotes. Ray Bradbury, he's a novelist, wrote video games are a waste of time for men with nothing else to do. Real brains don't do that. And Phyllis Schlafly, who is a politician, on commenting on massacres, said virtually every school massacre could be traced to young killers' addiction to violent games. And these are the quotes that are being published on CNN, massive media, that hit hundreds of millions, and it's planting in the brain of the parents almost immediately. So is it all bad news? In another study, it was actually the same study with the kids that spend 2/3 of their daily free time that is bad. It also showed that children who typically invest 1/3 of their daily free time playing games shows higher level of pro-social behaviour and lower levels of conduct problems, peer problems, and emotional symptoms. On top of this, there's a seen improvement in top-down attentional control, which is a better ability to single out a task of importance and ignore others. It's also beneficial for conflict resolution. The kids' reflexes and fine motor skills will be improved. So there was a study done on laparoscopic specialists who were small incision specialists, and it was shown that surgeons who played up to 3 hours a week, or up to or more 3 hours a week of games, were 32% less likely to make errors during surgery. And that's basically the quote from that paper is done by Bevelier in 2009. Said it significantly reduced, games can significantly reduce reaction times without sacrificing accuracy. Kid will also be better decision making, spatial awareness, object recognition and tracking. Also there's the implicit learning in games. Kids as they are growing up are playing games like Minecraft where they're building structures, getting better 3D spatial, recognizing 3D objects, spaces with these objects. Another game on the right there is Kerbal Space Program, where you learn how physics work, jet engines work, stages of rockets work, how to get a satellite into orbit, all these things that wouldn't be considered learning but can be applied then to further knowledge. And another physics-based game is Portal. So these implicit learning, basically, they're develop problem-solving skills and creativity, with the likes of Minecraft, multitasking with the likes of the Command Center for Kerbal Space Program. There's also making friends on a social, online, on servers. And due to this, there's leadership skills and teaching skills developed as you show others how you did something, say build something in Minecraft, or create a new, discover a new element in Minecraft, etc. So how this leads on then for the future of kids. So games, since the beginning, have always influenced people to start working. So you've a Sinclair Spectrum there down the bottom left. When kids started playing with these, sometimes to get a copy of a game you had to physically type in the assembly instructions, and it inspired then kids to tinker with these, modify them to create their own versions of the game, and go on then to be a game developer or programmer. Your 3D and spatial skills will help in an engineering standpoint, where you'll be 3D modelling, as you see the engine in the top right. Okay, so even something as simple as talking online on a headset to peers makes you more comfortable talking to someone without seeing them, over just through voice, which is a way a lot of multinational companies operate today, which gives you an advantage straight away of being comfortable talking to other people without specifically knowing who they are or who you're talking to. As of technology jobs, games can inspire people to program like it has myself. And there's a study that at the moment that 43% of tech companies, Amazon, Oracle included, are understaffed, and by 2019 there'll be 35,000 new jobs in Ireland alone in the technology, programming and biomedical technology industries. So these games could teach basic skills that could go on to develop their careers eventually. So then my report will be elaboration on the positives and negatives of children playing games, and I'd like to discuss further on how these can benefit kids growing up and how it can shape their future in preparing for jobs.
Excellent, with lots of examples then? With lots of examples included in the report?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
And I have all the references here. I just didn't want to, I didn't know whether to put in a reference slide.
Yeah, you have enough to go on. Excellent approach. You've got the positives and the negatives. Why do you think video games are so isolating? You either hate them, you love them. There's very few people actually sit in the middle and go, I don't mind them, depends on the
I
game.
think it's the stigma that will actually kind of degrade, as like you said, the video game native generation, as the older generation
produce their own kids.
They're kind of not parents anymore. It's once the native generation of parents, then will be more encouraged because you see the benefits. Whereas it's seen as TV is bad for you, and a game is on a TV, therefore games are bad for you. And a lot of games, up to, I think it was like the early 2000s, kind of 2002-ish, any study on violence in games coincided with watching a violent TV show. So they watched a violent TV show and played a violent game, but they blamed the games, and the television wasn't put in the media as a result.
Looking for simple answers to complex questions. So, on the spot. Cian.